Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Qwoff TV. We're in for a treat because we have with us here none other than Georg Riedel. Thank you for giving us some time.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Glad to be here.
Riedel Glassware, and I think it's safe to say that there's no bigger name in glassware than Riedel. So we feel lucky to be able to learn a little bit from you.
Good.
And why do we have water in the glass?
Because we don't want to drink the water in front of the public out of the bottle.
Very cool. It's just the most spectacular glass I've ever
This
drunk.
is the best water glass I've ever used.
Yeah, it's a good start.
At least it holds some quantity, so it's good to quench your thirst.
So Georg, you've just flown into Australia for a week, and tonight you're holding a glassware tasting.
We do this to educate the customer. We are happy to have a great followership here in Australia. I traveled since 20 years to Australia. We have met with numerous winemakers who we introduced to our philosophy, and the philosophy is that by selecting the right glass, their wine tastes better. It doesn't become better, but it tastes better. And when something tastes better, consumers tend to drink more, which obviously grows their business.
Needless to say, you've got a lot of support in the wine industry.
We have a lot of support in the wine industry because we are tool makers, and when it comes to match the glass, the bowl, the size, the rim diameter to a certain grape variety, then we transform this kind of beautiful wine into a celebration. Let me say that we view our customers and consumers in two ways. We have the casual wine drinker who occasionally drinks wine, and for them we would recommend to use a wine-friendly glass and to use one glass for all the wines they drink. It doesn't make sense for consumers who occasionally drink wine to get bothered with the glass culture and selecting the glass towards the grape variety. For those people who drink regularly wine and drink wine of more expensive wines, then I regard wine then becomes an investment. If you just would spend $20 per week throughout a year for wine, you have a wine budget of $1,000 per year. Imagine, it adds up. So I think that a couple of your viewers spend a bit more than $20 a week on wine. So they really have an investment, which means that why don't they try to improve their enjoyment by, first of all, serving the wine at the right temperature. Second, most probably decant their red wines. This kind of serving procedure is not hocus pocus, it is opening the wine and then ultimately choose the right varietal specific glass which enhances the enjoyment. And I would say satisfaction in wine consumption is when you say it was worthwhile to buy this bottle of wine, and you would always compliment the wine and never the right glass. Vice versa, if the wine is not to your liking, you never say it was a bad glass. You would say the wine I didn't like, and sometimes you underestimate the quality and the enjoyment which is in the bottle of wine, but with the wrong choice of glass, you utterly destroy your excitement.
Does it make that much? I mean, I'm interested to try it, and we're certainly lucky enough to sit in and learn something, no doubt, tonight. But does it make that much of a difference that you think someone that enjoys their wine but isn't a wine professional, will they notice the difference?
This is the reason why we try to educate as many customers as we can. And my company and my team, we educate about 50,000 Riedel aficionados who come to evenings like this. These kind of tastings are conducted around the world. These are not only done by myself or by my son Max. They are done through educators, which are company employees, and we walk to the palates of our consumers and say, try. And I would say the greatest thing for a human being is the freedom of choice. Once you have been exposed to this, you decide for yourself how complicated it is and if it complicates your wine drinking enjoyment. And then you judge if you're going to use 2 glasses, 3 glasses or more according to the wine you enjoy and according to the grape variety, because our principle is based on the DNA of the grape variety.
And sorry, you touched on something earlier that was something that a lot of people are interested in, decanters. And I see a couple of beautiful examples.
Look at this.
They're absolutely stunning. The importance of decanters, can you give us a little bit about that?
The decanters are not varietal specific. The decanters are items which aerate wine.
Spectacular.
And why would you aerate wine? So there are 2 ways of decanting. The one decanter is when you have wines which are mature wines which have sediment. Then it makes sense that you would like to separate the wine from the deposit. And this is when you use a candle and you pour careful out of the bottle in your decanter, and when the sediment arrives, this is indicated by the candle and the light underneath, you stop your decanting, and there is a little portion of wine which is left behind because it is with sediment.
Yeah.
The wines we drink most are young wines, are wines in its youth. They have almost no sediment. So, and these kind of decanters are aerators. When you think about the lifespan of a bottle of wine, there's almost no limit to this. Wine can age for 100 years, for 100 years, or even more, if they are stored and the conditions are proper and the cork holds up. The weakest part for wine storage, or the concern of wine storage, is the cork.
Yeah.
So self-enclosure takes away this kind of concern but we don't know how these wines will age. This is something which will be quite interesting to see, because self-enclosure doesn't go back 100 years. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Make a long story short, wine has a lifespan, and wine has a preservative in it. And once you open the bottle, then this is like the kiss of death to the wine, which means that this kind of aeration, if it is long enough, it kills the wine, because after a week the wine has changed its flavor profile, and after 3 weeks the wine is vinegar. Very simple. So it goes very, very quickly. If you would have kept it closed, it could go for another 50 years. So this is the reason why I call it the kiss of death. Aeration and wine does not go well together. However, a small portion of aeration is the wake-up call, and lifts the aromas and polishes the tannins. And by polishing the tannins, lifting the aromas, the wine tends to be sweeter more fruit on our palate. So it's magic to see and to notice decanted versus undecanted wine, which everybody can do, because we don't need toys like this. We could theoretically decant from one wine bottle into the other wine bottle. It's just aeration.
I've used
Or
plastic buckets.
keep the bottle exposed to air for 8, 12, 24 hours, and this would also have the same effect as decanting. But I would like to show you how those decanters work, because they're quite nicely engineered, and they're very strange in shape, very unusual in shape. And if you hand me over this one, I will show you.
See, I've got
This has an effect when you pour out of the decanter, that you get a double decanting effect. So if you give me this is open already. Let's pour this in here.
2 hands, Lily's Garden, Clanbar Shiraz.
Yeah.
It's the exact wine that we cracked when we launched the Qwoff website 3-4 years ago. First time, very sentimental wine for us.
So if you have a steady hand, there's no problem to fill the decanter.
That's you out, Jess.
Yeah.
So this takes a little while because
It's alright, it's great TV.
What's this one called, George?
it's called, it looks like a snail, it's called escargot.
Escargot. I told someone I was meeting you today and they asked if I could get a decanter.
Nice, Justin. Yeah, hit him up for a freebie. That's nice work. I get so nervous. I've only
See,
been
this kind
lucky
of
enough
slow
to have-
decanting obviously has an effect already on the decanting itself, because this kind of little stream of the wine opens up the wine. It has a fantastic large surface, so this kind of little stream coming out, and the little neck here obviously guides you that you need to pour careful into the decanter.
So people talk about bashing a young wine around. Is that hitting the sides and splashing it out? Is that good? Is that sort of opening it out?
Yes, of course. And now the fascinating part is when you put the decanter down, you will notice that you see this?
I'm getting nervous.
I know.
You see this, that the level behind here is higher than the front part.
Yep.
So there is actually an under pressure in here which sucks the wine in. And when
Of course, because no.
because normally you would have this at the same
Let's see if we
height.
can see this. Hang on, I'm going to do a bit of manual zippy doo
So
dah.
let me just
Look at this.
put all the plastic beakers here away and the water bottle away. So
Unprecedented
they
camera
get
work
this.
on Qwoff TV.
You see this? And it does not. It's not on a different level. It's just plain flat. But you see that this is elevated here. Now we're going to decant it, and when we decant the wine, is that the air which is going to fill this bubble here has to go through first, and therefore you will have here a wonderful double decanting effect on this decanter. And
I'll
you
be
will
right
see-
back there.
And you will see how look, you see this how this
Oh, bubbles.
how it bubbles.
Yep.
And let me just mention how much you fill in a glass.
Yes.
Not more than 100 to 150 milliliters, because you would like to make sure you don't over pour the glass. So this is the right pour in here, and then for more aroma you swirl the glass in order to expose the glass on the inside of the walls, and this has, you're almost quadrupling the evaporation surface, and then you are able to sense the wine, and with the right glass you get the right perfume from the wine on your nose.
Beautiful.
So we're drinking a Shiraz, and what is this glass designed for?
This is a glass which we have designed specifically for the Shiraz grape.
Okay.
And don't ask me why the shape is so different from a Cabernet glass or from a Pinot glass. This is something which we developed through trial and error, coming forward that for a very powerful, very concentrated wine, we're using the smallest glass. And we're using a glass which has the most narrow opening here. However, when you have the wine on your palate, you feel that this glass gives the wine this beautiful concentration. It gives the wine lots of fruit, beautiful mouthfeel, and great lengths on the finish.
So the glass has an effect on the wine, you're saying, beyond just the aroma, even...
The glass makes the wine flow in different parts from the glass itself onto your palate. And as swallowing is the second most automated reflex of a human being, I would say most consumers are unaware of that the glass is spectacular when it comes to how it guides the wine on your palate and how you taste the wine.